everybody, welcome to Wild Boy Movies, the place to talk movies. And Warner Brothers went ahead and dropped a brand new trailer for the fourth and final entry in the mainline series of Conjuring movies, The Conjuring Last Rites. And what I'm going to be doing in this video is giving you guys my thoughts on this trailer, as well as speculate how this final outing could go for the characters of Ed and Lorraine Warren. But be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and comment down below your thoughts on the trailer for The Conjuring Last Rites. But without further ado, let's get right into it. Alright, so giving you guys my thoughts on this trailer, I thought it was a pretty good trailer and it definitely has me excited to check out this movie whenever it comes out in September, because that is the plan. I'm wanting to see this in theaters as like my annual birthday movie. That it's something I've been doing since the year 2021 with Shang-Chi. I've been doing it every single year, and that tradition can continue on this year with The Conjuring Last Rites, as yeah, I think this will be a pretty good movie and will be a good way to end off this mainline series of Conjuring movies. Now, even though this is the last of the Conjuring movies, I don't think this is the end of the Conjuring universe, because you know they probably want to make more spin-offs of the Conjuring universe. Like, go ahead and bring that Crooked Man movie back into development. I kind of would want to see a third entry in the Nun series, or make Annabelle 4 based off all of the stuff that's been going on recently with Annabelle going on tour, with a plantation house burning down, an entire state's 911 service being out. That would be a good idea plot for a fourth Annabelle movie. Warner Brothers, I gave you an idea. Let's go ahead and talk about the case file of Ed and Lorraine Warren that is inspiring this fourth entry in the Conjuring universe. So, if you didn't know, all of the three Conjuring movies that we've gotten so far, from The Conjuring, The Conjuring 2, and The Conjuring The Devil Made Me Do It, have all been based on true case files that the real-life Ed and Lorraine Warren went ahead and investigated. And this fourth film is no different, where this movie is going to be going ahead and taking a look at the Smurl family haunting, which, based off of some research, is a haunting that happened in Pennsylvania and was from like the 70s to the 80s, like over 10 years, and it involved a family being haunted by 4 spirits. So this movie will be based on that haunting, with Ed and Lorraine Warren coming in to investigate and put a stop to this paranormal force. But they're doing something different from like the real life Smurl family haunting, where in this movie, at least in the Conjuring universe, they're tying the Smurl family haunting to the very first demon that Ed and Lorraine Warren encountered when they were younger, which brings me to the flashback sequences that we do get in this trailer. Because in this movie, we are going to be getting a younger Ed and Lorraine Warren going up against some sort of demon from their past, and that demon will be coming back to haunt them in this fourth entry in the case of the Smurl family haunting. And I think that could go around pretty well in terms of like the story, but I'm very curious to see what this actual demon is that Ed and Lorraine Warren encountered when they were younger, that came back to haunt them now older, back in the 80s. Now, one thing that I gotta go ahead and point out whenever I watched this trailer for the first time is when Lorraine says, "I felt this evil from before," in my head I thought they're actually going to bring in Valak for this fourth and final Conjuring movie, because Ed and Lorraine Warren have dealt with Valak in the past in Conjuring 2, and there was that tease in the end credit scene of The Nun 2 where Ed and Lorraine Warren are getting a call, which for some reason that end credit scene was spoiled 2 years before The Nun 2's release, back in the days of when the Conjuring 3 went to theaters and HBO Max. They had that end credit scene in the trailers. But regardless, I was thinking we would get Valak in this trailer, but no, it's just that other demon that I mentioned before that Ed and Lorraine encountered when they were younger. Which, that's the case, then why even have the Lorraines have a small cameo in the end credit scene of The Nun 2? Like, if you're not gonna tease that the Warrens are going up against Valak one more time, then why have that in the end credit scene at all? And overall, some of the scare sequences that we do get are pretty good. While it's not really like effective and actually scaring or terrifying me, I do like some of the sequences that we do get in this trailer, like towards the end where we have this one demon with like an axe and like a hand lamp going up against Lorraine. I think that scene will end up being pretty good. And yeah, there are just a lot of good sequences in this trailer, but really not enough for me for a full-on breakdown. So this is just my general thoughts on the trailer instead of like a picking the trailer and seeing what they could be teasing. But yeah, I am liking these sequences that we are getting in this trailer, and I do have faith in director Michael Chavez, who, contrary to what you think of his movies, but I did enjoy La Llorona, Conjuring, Devil Made Me Do It, and The Nun 2, and I think they are all pretty good entries in the Conjuring universe, so I think that Michael Chavez will do a good job here in this fourth Conjuring movie because he is Conjuring Last Rites director. One last thing that I do want to go ahead and point out with this Conjuring trailer is that we do get to see some little shots of Annabelle in this movie. Now, it's not Annabelle in her glass case as we've seen throughout the Conjuring movies where she's stuck behind that case. No, she's outside of her case, apparently causing mayhem to the Smurl and Warrens. So I'm curious to how Annabelle is going to go ahead and play into the plot of Conjuring 4. Maybe this demon from the Warrens past is bringing back all the demons from the Warrens past to haunt them, and maybe that's how Valor could connect. But either way, I'm just very curious for Annabelle's inclusion in this movie, and probably is kind of poor timing for this given, like I said way before this video, the whole stuff going on with Annabelle on tour. It's just like, why even is Annabelle on tour? But I'm still curious to see Annabelle's involvement in this movie. But that was my thoughts on the trailer for The Conjuring Last Rites. I want to hear from you guys. What are you guys' thoughts on this trailer? Go ahead and leave that down in the comment section. And while you're at it, be sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you in the next video. And have a great day.